Okay, so really, here's where SmackDown really pissed me off this week, mostly I think, because we got the first of two real incredible booking errors. I mean, real booking fails, just where you just think, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, oh, these did my head in. I can't decide which one made me angrier. For right now, I'm going to say that this was the one that made me less angry of the two of them. Probably because it was less of a surprise. Still a surprise, but anyway. We had the returning Kane face Rey Mysterio. Now, first off, I thought with Kane being away for several months, I assumed that because Kane was so out of shape, WWE said, go and get in shape. So I assumed he would come back leaner, more muscular. He's been away for months now, and no, he looks fatter and more out of shape than he did before. I mean, he looks horrendous. And secondly, this match doesn't make any sense to even happen. Rey Mysterio has just won the Intercontinental title, and Kane has just returned. Both wrestlers needed on this show to be put over. I feel for it to make sense, I don't particularly want to see Kane put over, but for it to make sense, a returning superstar has to get put over to look strong, and a new champion who's just had one of the best feuds of the year with Chris Jericho, with tons of sublime matches, who has managed to edge out Jericho in a hard-fought match, must win their first match after winning the title. They simply must win, otherwise it makes them and Jericho look like idiots. So, I was assuming that what would happen would be that the Great Khali would come down and either get Mysterio disqualified by hitting Kane with a chair or something, or causing Kane to run away to lose by countout, or hitting Kane with a chair when the referee wasn't looking, so that Mysterio could get the pin, furthering the feud that they seem to have set up between the Great Khali and Kane, which nobody wants to see. But no, that is not what happened. Kane won this match clean. Like, seriously, what in the holy fuck is that all about? Why does Kane keep winning these matches? Kane hasn't been even remotely good since 2003. Like, and that's pushing it. This is like, he beat CM Punk clean, fresh off CM Punk's Money in the Bank win. How? Who is booking this? Is Kane like shagging someone backstage? Like, what the fuck? Like, I actually don't understand. This makes no sense at all. And then Kane goes after Mysterio, and then finally Khali plods down to the ring with a chair. And I mean, it was really fucking slow. And Kane runs away, which I've never seen Kane do before. This whole thing, hideous. Anyway, it's going to make me angry, so I'm going to move on. Move backstage and we see a Jericho promo. He's asked for this time. Says he's pleased to see Kane beat Rey Mysterio, and he's decided that the Intercontinental title rematch will be next week on SmackDown, which of course he won't win, but now that Edge is injured, might be more likely to win. I don't know, I'll be looking at that with some interest. Edge is there too and says that tonight's not about individuals, it's about proving that they are the most dominating force in WWE. And then Jericho uses his catchphrase and says, we are the best in the world at what we do. Jericho goes on one of his typical rants, which are always wonderful, but I failed to note down exactly what he said. I apologise. And he rants on for a while, and Edge just says my thoughts exactly at the end. Which, you know, Edge is great at promo. Edge is really good at promo, but for this kind of promo, nobody does it better than Jericho, and I think Edge realises that. Now, then we move on. We move on to what I think was probably the worst booking decision of the night. In fact, one of the worst booking decisions I've ever seen. You have the Hart Dynasty. Tyson Kidd is great. He really is fantastic. David Hart-Smith isn't very good, but, you know, serves fine as Kidd's tag team partner because they're fueled by such a great gimmick. You know, the heritage gimmick, it's a fantastic gimmick. They could go so far. Kidd's probably too small, at least until he's made a name for himself, to make it as a singles wrestler in WWE, because Vince McMahon doesn't like small people generally. But this tag team really works, and Natalya is one of the most talented women they have. Natalya, who didn't even get introduced by Justin Roberts. What the fuck? We have this really promising young tag team with a great gimmick. And we have them facing, in their debut match on SmackDown, we have them facing Crime Time, the ultimate jobber tag team. Can anyone tell me this? When was the last time Crime Time won a match? When did that happen? I actually don't remember. I have literally no recollection of the last time Crime Time won a match. Was it within the last year? I have a feeling it wasn't even within the last year. And they won this. Crime Time got put over by the Hart Dynasty. What? What? They even looked terrible in this match. Shad and JTG suck. Especially Shad. He's so awful, he can't do anything. That's not your signature elbow drop. You've just stolen MVPs and put less interesting, like, theatrics in front of it. Fuck off. You are awful. Whoever booked the Hart Dynasty to put Crime Time over needs to be shot. Now. Anyway. We have a Divas Tag Team match next with Melina and Maria taking on Michelle McCool and Layla. Michelle McCool, of course, the new women's champion. Maria wrestling always makes me very sad because she's awful. Really awful. And Layla's just as bad. So in the early going, after one tag, we see most of these two in the ring to start it out, which was awful. McCool comes in and looks quite fiery and aggressive. Only really lands any heel offense, you know, lots of striking and stuff. But I thought she looked quite good. This match goes on for a bit, isn't very good. And Melina pins Layla after what Todd Grisham refers to as the Primal Scream. I don't know if that refers to the move. It's that reverse DDT position to the splits leg drop over the neck into the cover, which I actually think is an alright move. At least it's distinctive. He might have just been referring to the fact that Melina makes a terrifying noise before she delivers that move, and often throughout matches. This match wasn't very good. I'm going to address the situation with the Divas, and I'm going to do it within the next couple of days, so I'll talk more about that then. Next, we had a backstage segment. John Morrison, who has been, with perhaps the exception of Chris Jericho, the most consistent performer on any brand for the last several weeks, has wrestled some incredible matches and has really done well to make a name for himself. He is not wrestling on tonight's SmackDown, no. He's backstage and he has a segment with Teddy Long, where he's trying to tell Long that he believes that he deserves a shot at the winner of the Night of Champions match. He pinned the world champion last week, so yes, he clearly does. He won't get one, it won't happen. And then they have a segment where they just like sing a sort of Michael Jackson medley at each other. I know Michael Jackson died, and I know a lot of people are very sad, and that's understandable. But this was one of the worst segments that I've ever seen on a wrestling show. I hope it's never repeated. Then we had the main event, which I'm not going to talk about for very long, because I don't have very long left. Plus, also, there's not that much to say. Jericho and Edge beat Hardy and Punk. The whole idea is that, you know, Punk and Hardy tag surprisingly well and function surprisingly well as a unit to start with, although Hardy acts petulant and surprisingly reluctant to do so. But then later on in the match, Punk brings out his eye injury again and fails to tag in because he's nursing this eye. And at one point it really annoyed me because Todd Grisham was like, Jeff Hardy's clearly in a lot more pain than CM Punk. And JR had to be like, well, we're not really supposed to know if this injury is genuine or not yet. I mean, by the end of the match, it was obvious that Punk was feigning, but you weren't really supposed to know at this point, I don't think. You're supposed to suspect, but not know. And JR was like, well, how do you know? You've never had an eye injury. And I just, fuck off, Todd Grisham. I hate you. I really hate you. Sorry. Anyway, like, Punk then, even gets to motivating Hardy by stamping on the steps and then fails to tag again, at which point you realise that he really is feigning this injury. So Hardy hits the Whisper in the Wind and then Twist of Fate, but instead of covering, he force tags Punk, and Punk gets dominated for a bit, and then Hardy feigns an eye injury and refuses to tag Punk in, which is obviously like, you know, him just goading Punk. But Edge hits the spear and wins, and Hardy hits Edge with the Twist of Fate. This match was okay, but nothing special, and then after the match, Hardy continues to feign this injury before going up to the top of the ramp and revealing that he's not hurt. And we're supposed to be surprised, even though it's the least surprising thing ever. It's totally obvious that it's not a real injury. Of course it's not a real injury. How stupid do you think we are? I'm running out of time, so I just want to say that this SmackDown was awful. I never thought I'd say that for a while at least. I was very, very, very disappointed and saddened to see it like that. Did you guys agree? Did you not agree? I mean, some of you might have really enjoyed it, and if you did, let me know why. I'd love to hear your views. Comment, rate, and subscribe if you wish. Thanks for watching and bearing with my ranting. Have a nice day, guys. I'll see you later.